So it's August 28th, 2025. It's just after 8 a.m. and about to do a thing that I've been wanting to do since 1988, surf a wave pool. Thought many times about traveling long distances and paying lots of money to do it. And instead it came to me finally at age 53. Here I am about to surf a wave pool right across the street from my home break. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm nervous, very nervous. I wish it had happened 20 years ago. I'm old. I don't surf that much anymore, but hopefully I'll get a few waves. So I had a 9 a.m. session, the advanced left. They tell you in the email to arrive at 8 a.m., which I did, and it was cool to see this whole place for the first time with hardly anybody there. Most of the guys arrived about 10 to 20 minutes later. All you really need to do is to check in at the front desk, go in, get yourself situated, get a colored jersey which indicates which side of the pool you're on for that session, and then about 15 minutes before your session there's a safety briefing. Catching this wave does take some getting used to. It's a little bit different than an ocean wave, and I am not a great paddler, especially at this age, and so I did miss 3 of my first 4 attempts to catch the wave. I also ride a little bit of a volumey board. I ride a 6'3" Lost Easy Up, which is what I ride in the ocean most of the time, and it works good for me there. Probably a little bit too much volume for this wave, and I'll look at what I'm riding before I go back to the wave pool. But eventually I did get the hang of it, and I got a few rides. Like I said, felt like a little too much volume at time, but it did flow nicely, and the wave has got a lot more power than you would think, and it's faster than you would think. Even looking at it here, it felt bigger when I was riding it. So this is the advanced left wave, and even though it's not really a barrel wave, I didn't really go in with any plan of what I was going to do on the waves, but I wasn't really expecting any barrels, and the wave kind of offered me little ones at times, so I found myself kind of trying to duck down and get them every now and then. Didn't really get a proper barrel, but did kind of get in the pocket a few times, and that was pretty cool as well. You'll notice here that some of these clips are repeats from a different angle. The Wave Garden does have a system called Flow State. It's got 2 cameras fixed in the Wave Garden, and they take videos of every single one of your rides, which you can view on their website afterwards. You can purchase all the clips and stills that they provide for, I think it was $35-ish, and it was quite a bit, and it was good stuff. I think it was well worth it if you're interested in that. So I just finished my first session at the Atlantic Surf Park Wave Garden here in Virginia Beach. I was expecting to be really exhausted and have trouble doing that much paddling and have trouble catching the wave, and that was all true. I did, on all counts. Missed several waves, was exhausted paddling out. But the waves I did catch were more powerful than I thought they'd be, faster than I thought they would be, steeper than I thought they'd be. And yeah, it was very fun. I'm looking forward to doing it again. Hopefully I'll be in better shape next time. The rest of this video is just going to be some things I learned in my experience at the Wave Garden that day. This is in the morning, right when I first got there. The parking garages attached to the facility don't seem to be open yet. You just can park on the street. There's paid parking spots all around. I parked a couple blocks away. You have to walk through construction areas, and you can see construction workers even on site here. There's a security guard that will lead the way. It's not always obvious how to weave through the fences to get to the front entrance. When you check in, you get a blue bracelet with an RFID chip in it, and you get to keep that, but they tell you that if you lose it and you come back, you have to pay a $5 replacement fee. and I think that's how they track the pictures with that RFID. There is a little rip current. You can kind of see it in these videos. It runs right along the machine, and it is fairly easier to paddle out when the waves aren't running. You can really see it there. When the waves running, the swells coming at you kind of negate that benefit. It's still exhausting just because you keep having to paddle out over and over. One guy in my session that I talked to, he got a wave every 4 minutes the entire hour, and for me anyway, I don't do that in the ocean, so I tend to take a while in between waves. So what you're going to see here over the next 90 seconds or so is here we've already started. It's a complete set of lefts. The waves come in sets of 4, and there's usually a predecessor wave that's kind of half size and a wave at the end that's also half size, but the waves run in sets of 4 as the machine runs inward, and then that takes about 50 seconds, and then the machine has to run back to the end again. You can hear all this happening. It kind of gives you a clue as to when the wave's going to start, and it takes about 50 seconds in between sets. It gives you a chance to regroup, to get back in line. They do have rules about staying in line. Like I would wave some people around when I was really tired just to give myself more of a breather. But ideally you just stay in line, and there's plenty of waves for everyone. I don't see anyone leaving there disappointed in how many wave chances they had. So this is the right that was going on. This is actually the session just after mine. This was in expert turns, and then they switched to expert barrels a little bit later in that same session. I like this shot. You can actually sit there in certain spots and see both waves running at once, and that's a pretty cool perspective. With your paid session, you do get to stay there. It's a day pass. You can stay there all day, and it's a pretty nice place. There are lounges, chairs everywhere. There's sand areas. There's AstroTurf areas. If you bring someone, they do have to pay. It's a day pass for someone to come in. It's $25, which is a lot if they're just going to watch one session. There is a spot right before the entrance outside of the Wave Garden where there's maybe a 4-foot iron fence, and anyone can just walk right up to that, and you can see the wave pool very clearly from there. So if you want to bring someone to watch and you don't want to pay the $25, you can have them watch from there. The bottom is concrete, of course, and the wave does get very shallow, especially towards the inside. They do warn you about not riding your wave all the way in. I know at least 1 or 2 times when I got really in the end part of the wave, and it's still pretty steep in there, that I kind of just kicked out or jumped out rather than try something right there in the shallow part for risk of damaging my board or my head. I have heard that's one person got a concussion, a couple people got dislocations there. I heard that from someone. So yeah, they do require leashes there, and I think if you have a GoPro, they require that to be on a leash as well. But you can see guys getting good rides here. This is later in the barrel session, I believe. It's a lot of fun, and I highly recommend it. If you get a chance to go out there, have some fun. It's kind of a dream come true for a lot of us.